Good afternoon, everyone. This is the daily market update video, and I will be giving you guys some news to start off. And I'll be breaking down QQQ and SPY and giving you guys the support and resistance for those levels. And let's get started. So we're looking at Apple on daily time frame, and they just reported its earnings. So you can see after hours, Apple is currently up roughly 1.8% at the moment. This huge pop was due to they beating earnings, obviously, and as well as there is 90 billion buyback for Apple, and as well they raised their dividends by 4%. And for me, I thought those three combined together would give us at least a 3% move and be able to sustain there. But right now we're only up 1.8%. So I think part of that is due to us running quite a bit already into earnings. As you guys can see, ever since the last earnings, roughly from here, we've been up 16%. So we are pretty close to the upper range versus the lower range. You can see we are at 170. We are only 7.5% from all-time highs for Apple, which is insane. Um, but their year-over-year sell is down, so I think that is why it's a little bit muted in terms of how much we gain versus something like Microsoft was up like 10%, and from there, and Meta was also up like 10% for their earnings report, right? So that's why I think we're a little bit muted. That we ran quite a bit. Plus, our sales year to year it's down, and as well as there was a lot of calls options that was bought for $170. So I think that's one of the reasons it's been held down. You can see at 170 is a resistance as well, and we just touched it here again, like 20 minutes ago, and it's not getting over it. So we'll see if we get over 170 tomorrow in the actual regular trading hours. That's going to be the real action, in my opinion. Usually, Apple Apple usually runs a little bit more after earnings based on its history, but we'll see. So 170 is going to be key resistance for me tomorrow because of the calls. Essentially, the psychology of it's calls, meaning if it goes over 170, then those will be in the profits. And the market makers do not want that to happen. So they hold it below 170 to make those guys sell at a loss. Essentially, that's what it is. So that's going to be a wall there. So we'll see if we actually get over that or not tomorrow. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing so far. We did retest this black trend line down here and bounce off of it. So it's good for the bulls. But 170 is definitely going to be the most key. Um, yeah, I just moved that by accident. Yeah, let's take a look at QQQ NASDAQ as well as, where is it, QQQ? So QQQ today, NASDAQ, I'm going to go to QQQ chart. Give me a second. QQQ today was pretty flat. It's a little bit lower. Um, we bounced off of the 315 support level, which is a key support on the daily chart. Let's see if we zoom in here. Based on how many times we have been in 315, you can see all these levels down here. Traded in the 215s, bounce off of it, came back, bounce off of it, came back, bounce off of it, got lower, reject from it. All these 315 was pretty much the key level that bulls had to hold. The bulls couldn't hold there. We're definitely going to 312. And funny thing, we've been talking about 312 and 320 for the past month and a half almost. We've been saying that's likely going to trade sideways still in this megaphone, resistance and support. And it'll be funny if we actually get down here and bounces. But I don't think it will because usually megaphones, as it extends out, it gets too extended. As you can see how big it goes. It would be pretty insane if we just come down here and bounces back up there, which I highly doubt the probability would happen. But usually when in the beginning of the megaphones, you can see how tight it is, and the chance of it bouncing off of each other is very likely, and which is exactly what happened. Lower lows, no follow through. Higher highs, no follow through. Lower lows, higher highs, and no follow through both ways. And This is just it will just be a visual guide for me, and the key resistance for me would be obviously this one. It's still 312, and if we do break that, then we're looking at this one right down here. So far, we haven't. So we'll see. Apple's obviously during regular trading hours is going to be the key factor. If Apple cannot get over 170, then QQQ is not going to go anywhere. And yeah, so if Apple decides to not get over 70 and starts to drop, then we potentially will break the 315. If we do break 315, then we're looking at 312. And if you guys use volume profiles, let me take a look what it looks like around here roughly. Okay, you can see the volume area low right here. It coincides with 315. So 315 is definitely the key for me. If you break 315, we're very likely going to 312. Like pretty very likely. And odds of it be very high. And if we do break 312, looking down at this prior low for sure, around 310. Right, let's go to SPY and take a look. SPY was a lot weaker today. You can see we broke this prior low here by a little bit, pretty much a double bottom, I would say, if you ask me. And we bounced off of the moving average 76. That's not the one I want, but we did bounce off of a 50. Let me see. If it was a 50 or 76. 76 is pretty much exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was the 50 moving average. I'll just check later. But SPY was a lot weaker because of the financial sector being a lot weaker. You can see KRE again. KRE again being the weakest of the weakest due to yesterday I was talking about PacWest Corp Bank Regional Bank was 50% down after hours due to them wanting to sell their bank. And see what they're closed today at. They closed today down 50%. Yep. And funny thing is, there was another one today, Western Alliance. Someone released a report saying that they're going to sell their bank too, but they didn't want to sell their bank. So this is what happened in the morning. So it dropped 50% as well. And then it halted a couple times here. And the news came out saying the bank itself saying that they are not looking to sell their bank. And this is what happened once the unhalts bounced. So there was a lot of drama today in the banking sector. So when SPY, XLF is in SPY, but XLF is not in QQQ. That's why QQQ drop a lot less than SPY because there's no financial sector in QQQ. I think there's like 0.1% or 1%. That's financials in QQQ holdings. Hence, we got such a big drop for SPY versus QQQ. So, SPY already given back pretty much all its move from this bounce. QQQ is on about 60% of this move. So, the key for tomorrow is Apple 170. Do we get that over or not? SPY, do we hold this double bottom or not? And QQQ, where did my QQQ go? Do we hold 315? Three key levels for me. If none of those holds, there is going to have a good day. 315, yep. Right there. So those are the three key levels I'm be watching. And VIX, we finally got over this top. This million quadruple top that we had. See all this time, and this time. And then today we got over it. I'm surprised that we're up 20% on the VIX up here. The market was only down like 1%. So I was down 1%. QQ was like 0.6 or something at the low of the day. That's very surprising to me. Usually we have a 20% day. We would have something like a 2-3% drop. So that's interesting. We did close above it very slightly. So do we just come back down tomorrow or do we continue? And those three levels will be keys. Apple 170 doesn't get over it. We're likely see the VIX bounce. And QQ breaking 315, SPY breaking its double bottom, will result in a new low onto the next level. And as of big data and everything, interesting for me is rate hikes. You can see that we were pricing in no, we were actually pricing cuts in closer to the end of the year, but now we're actually markets actually pricing cuts as soon as July, which is crazy. You can see right here in July 26th, it used to be a hold. The highest probability was still a hold, a pause, and now it's just starting to price in cuts, and there's two cuts here, 2 basis points, sorry, 50 basis point cuts here in November already, which is pretty insane for the market. So I don't know if how this is going to be priced in, and because Jerome said there is no cuts this year, the market has just been pricing cuts after cuts for the past months, and so there's going to be a little bit of discrepancy in the market, and we'll see if we actually get a pause next meeting, which is the first time that there's potentially going to be a pause that's priced in, and we'll see if Jerome actually, decides to go with this data or he deviates from it. So far, he has stuck to this data 100% of the time, but when it comes to pausing and cutting, and does he actually stay on with this data as well? That's going to be next month, so we don't have to worry about it right now. But we have CPI data next week, so that's going to be key as well, since there's a little bit of fear in the market at the moment with the financial sector and all of that. So if CPI comes in just a little bit hotter, then it will probably trigger a little bit of fear as well, due to there's already fear in the market. Versus like the past couple months, CPI has just been kind of like slowly trending down, and the market was feeling pretty complacent and decent, I would say. So hence we've been going up quite a bit. And that's all I got for you guys. And if you guys got any questions, feel free to let me know. And if you got this far, feel free to subscribe. See you guys